So, Cam, please take off the Miami jacket. All right, and I know you tried to.
Well, I don't have a shirt on under this, so I can't do that right now.
I know you tried to be not literally, unless you want to. Of course.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
And I know you try to be unbiased when you answer these kind of questions, but really, tuck it away in the corner. Looking at this division, if we are just looking at talent, Miami has the best roster, correct?
Fair.
And there's
Absolutely.
no question about it. Okay.
No question at all.
Again, being fair and looking at the plethora of outstanding rosters across the country, the top in the Big Ten, the SEC, all the way across the Power Five, where would you place Miami? Not that they're going to perform to this level in regards to wins and losses this year, but where would you place the talent on the roster? Top 15, top 20?
I would probably say Miami's probably somewhere in that top 20 to 25. Probably like top 20 range for just roster talent. Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is the thing that you have to always consider when looking at roster talent like that is depth, not just the top end. And Miami does have that top end to compete with a lot of teams. I'm not going to say anybody, but the starting 11 on both sides is very high caliber. Miami has a high standard of athleticism and talent across the board. On the starting unit, it starts to get untenable, when you start to rotate in backups. You really don't have a good offensive line and definitely don't have depth up there. That's going to be a thing that's going to deteriorate or lower the ranking for me. We've joked about it on during games for years, but Manny Diaz, when he was defensive coordinator, he would love to do these hockey line wholesale changes on defense. Like you'd see 10 guys run off and one guy run on, and invariably the other team would gash Miami when they had these backups out there. I mean, that touchdown, the first touchdown that LSU scored on that stretch play was mostly, all three starting linebackers were out of the game in the first quarter. Why? You can't rotate one or two. You're taking Durant and Curry and Thompson and everybody off the floor at the same time and thinking, everything's going to be cool. The guys you put out there are not those same caliber guys. This is not Alabama where it's a nameless, faceless kind of thing where you have Damian Harris and he gets injured for part of a game. You have the Jacobs kid, he comes in as a 3-star recruit, and now he's going to maybe be a second-round draft pick, and he could arguably be better than Damian Harris. And then behind them, you have Najee Harris, who's the number one recruit in America behind them. And, even you got guys at Alabama, Deshaun Hand, 6 years ago, was the number one recruit in all of America. And he didn't play till his 4th year at Alabama. He's a redshirt junior before he saw any kind of meaningful snaps. He goes to my Detroit Lions, and he was first-team all-rookie. He had such a great season as an interior lineman in the NFL. The last time somebody had that kind of production was Aaron Donald as a rookie. And this guy couldn't see the field at Alabama. You know what I'm saying? So that depth of talent is where I would put Miami down in that 20-25 range, just because, you start to lose one guy or another and the quality of product changes dramatically.
So that was definitely fair, because I was going in the 15 to 20 range, and Cam, even with his allegiance, went to the 20 to 25 range in regards to national talent because of the depth issue in some areas. So if you look at the division, I know that Pitt went 6-2. I really don't look at the records right now. Obviously, they mean everything, and that's all that counts is getting to the ACC championship game. But if you strip off the records and we started the season over, even if we brought everybody back for 2018, who knows what? I would not be putting my money on Pitt, but hey, great job. They got it done in the 8 games that they needed to, going 6-2 in the ACC. Who has the second best roster in that? I think you take North Carolina out of it, and it's, wow, you've got a lot of rosters from about 35 to 45 to 50 in the nation.
In the Coastal Division, in our division of the ACC, man. I would say Virginia Tech, but I don't even know if they have a playable roster. Even if you had to cut from 85 to 53 to an NFL size roster, Virginia Tech would be struggling right now because they have so many transfers. So they're definitely not on that level with either talent or depth. Virginia, I guess Georgia Tech is undergoing a complete overhaul because Paul Johnson retired, was forced out, and they're switching from that awful offense that they ran. Even though they did get like Jameis Griffin, who was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Georgia, as a running back to go to Georgia Tech, and that kid can ball. Pittsburgh isn't. There's just Duke is terrible. I mean, on talent, like across, like on that like roster talent kind of thing. So yeah, I would say like Virginia or Pittsburgh would have the second best roster in the Coastal behind Miami. But I mean, it's definitely not like a clear answer in my mind. And definitely Miami should, again, if Miami does what Miami needs to do, there's no reason we shouldn't be pulling up to Charlotte every single year for the ACC championship.
Yeah, those other 5 teams could play in any order, and I think it's a flip of the coin. You got North Carolina on one end, you got Miami on one end, and if the Canes don't do what they should be doing, and if they play like they did last year, of course, then you could throw them in with the other 5 because that's what you've got. Now, here's another theoretical scenario for you. Same team as what we had last season at Miami, except one position. Take Trevor Lawrence and give him to Miami.
Oh man, we do numbers. Play. No, we do numbers. No, we do. We do numbers. There's none of those games that we lose. Virginia, nope, we blow them out. Boston College, nope, we blow. No. If we had now, obviously, the offensive line would have to be better than they were. But like I said, in recruiting, people were saying it, and myself, I was one of them for years. This kid is a generational talent. He is a transcendent player. And yeah, God, you're talking about Miami. And I think if I look it up really quickly, Miami completed over the course of last season. I'm trying to stall so I get to load. There we go.
Going for a percentage?
51% completions for the year.
Say 52. Okay.
Yeah. Rozier was at 52, personally. But yeah, 51.1% completions. Dude, Trevor Lawrence? Miami does numbers with that guy. Even in the LSU game, I can think of 2, maybe 3 touchdowns that Malik Rozier had that were not touchdowns because the ball wasn't there. There was a post route to Jeff Thomas that, he made a sliding catch between 3 defenders, but if you put that ball 10 yards further, he's leaving those guys. You know what I mean? Jeff Thomas was running butt naked wide open on another play that the ball didn't even go his way because Malik Rozier didn't process the field and didn't see him running butt naked wide open, doing backflips and cartwheels down the seam, things like that. But no. I would be interested to see, maybe who would be not like a step down from Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, I was going to ask the same thing. So I was going to go like Daniel Jones, Ryan Finley, still very good players.
Yeah, I like Finley as a college quarterback better than Jones just because I never liked Daniel Jones. I didn't think he was very good. But, if you upgrade the quarterback position, and Miami was one of the 3 worst quarterbacked teams in college football last year. Even if you go from terrible to decent, that's another 2 or 3 wins right there. And if you want to put in, go from terrible to transcendent from, what Miami had to Trevor Lawrence, then yeah, all those games that Miami lost, is they're closer or wins. So yeah, hopefully we'll see that kind of progression this year when with a new quarterback or whoever it is, or just the progression of scheme and the updates and things like that. But yeah, if Miami would have had even a league average quarterback last year, things would have been different. If they would have had Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, somebody transcending that position, then yeah, it would have been way better.